Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time to start the last session of today. Of course, we will have the dinner later, and looking forward to that. But before that, I'm going to tell you something about my research relating to digital storytelling, how we use videos for learning. And my research that I'm going to tell you today is based on two projects, quite large projects that we did in international collaboration. They were funded by Tekes, Tampere University of Technology, and University of Helsinki. The Finable is the first one. And the second one is Savi Innovations in Learning and Education, funded by the Academy of Finland here in Finland, National Science Foundation in the United States, and Tekes also. This project was part of bilateral collaboration between Finland and the United States. A few years ago, National Science Foundation and the Finnish research funders decided to create Savi, Science Across Virtual Institutes, on learning and innovations in learning. And in this program, I was co-chairing it. I was the Finnish chair, and Professor Eric Hamilton from Pepperdine University was the chair from United States. We had 8 projects there. These projects were like, in every project we had a research group from both countries, so they were sharing the research plan, and in total in this program we were looking for how to engage students for learning. And by students we mean actually all level of students, from the primary education to secondary, high school, to the university level. But the projects I'm telling you today are mainly for 5th graders to 9th graders. Results can be applied to university level, so it's not content related in that sense. But first, we've been talking about digital learning and some research data. So Sanoma Learning is a publisher in Finland, and they did a study in Europe level 2 years ago about how and why to use digital learning. And they realized that teachers are really motivated to use digital learning, 86%. They feel confident. So surprisingly, 70% of the teachers feel confident with the technology. They also concluded that digital learning will increase the engagement, and that's, I think, very important, because engagement is somehow important for the learning outcomes. If we can engage our students to the topic, it almost guarantees that the outcomes of the learning process will be good. Of course, teacher has very important role there. I think we all know that teachers' role in a classroom is very, very important. So if the teacher is engaging, students are also engaged to think what they are doing. Other positive things also, learning outcomes will increase, and teachers are in a crucial role of changing the learning towards digital learning. So I think this is a good basis, very good basis, to move forward to digital learning world. 21st century skills is the term that has been in our discussions this week also, but we really have not defined what we mean with 21st century skills. And I think there are quite many definitions of what are these skills. Many countries have defined that, okay, our kids who are now at school, they will need this and that kind of skills, and many of those skills are not topic related like math, but they are more general skills like problem solving skills. And this is a list of 21st century skills that we were looking in our research projects. This is not a complete list of digital of 21st century skills, but it's a one list. We think creativity is important. Creativity and ability to create innovations or innovate, think out of the box kind of skill. Problem solving, digital literacy, collaboration and interaction. So to be able to collaborate with others, to be able to interact with others, also digitally and face-to-face situations. So that's what we think is important. And we aimed to create a learning platform, learning activities that would support 21st century skills, learning these skills. Okay, so we were aiming to create a learning platform, and we were thinking that what kind of platform is a good platform for learning. Quite a long time ago, David Jonassen also already presented that a good learning tool is a tool that creates thinking processes. So I think we all know this Rubik cube. For sure it creates learning processes or thinking processes. If you wanna solve it, or if you wanna solve just one or two sides, you have to think very carefully what's your next move, or what are the series of moves in order to move this blue piece to here, for example. Oh well, so we have to create such a platform that would enable thinking processes. By the way, a lecture like this kind of situation can also be this kind of cognitive tool. If the lecturer, in this case me, can engage you to the learning process and can talk topics that really make you think. I hope I can see when you fall asleep. Then I know you are not thinking anymore, or you are thinking in a level that I'm not aiming to. So, yes, cognitive tools. I'm showing you 3 examples from 3 different kinds of projects. So digital storytelling, video inquiry, and structured inquiry. 3 ways of using digital video. They are different, they have similarities. Okay, first one, digital storytelling. We started from digital storytelling. The basis of our thinking like 5-6 years ago was that we are storytellers. Actually, our ancestors already, they were together around this kind of open fireplaces. They were telling stories. They were sharing their thoughts. They were passing their culture to next generations by telling stories. And we still have this culture. But we don't gather around these open fireplaces, but we share stories through books, and we share stories through movies or through TV shows. We still share stories, so we are storytellers. We also studied how young people use their mobile devices, and we realized that already in 2011 that 61% of girls and 70% of boys used some kind of video on their mobile devices like every day, so daily. And we thought that, okay, schools are not using or utilizing video, what these kids anyway use in their free time. We wanted to do something for that, and that's why we went to digital storytelling. Well, nowadays these figures are even bigger. These are numbers from studies not made by my research group, but made by others. In these research projects, studies, they realized that Snapchat. How many of you know Snapchat? Yeah, I think our kids use it heavily. So 35% of all 13 to 17 years here in Finland use Snapchat daily. And it's highly polarized because there are some who don't use, but those who use, they send something like 200 to 500 Snapchats per day. So amazing number. It's maybe targeted to a little bit older, like this 17 end here is the ones who use it, because in US college, 77% of all students use Snapchat. So they take short video clips, they share the clips with their friends, and in this way they kind of document their life. And I'm here now, like presenting to you and so on. Instagram, you know, this sharing videos and images, 60% in Finland, 52% in United States. So these are big numbers. However, when the same researchers were asking, how many of you are creating photographs with your devices, something like 30% or a little bit more said that they take photographs with their mobile devices. And less than 10% said that they take videos. So they don't consider Snapchatting that it would have anything to do with taking videos or taking pictures. It's a snap. It's not a video. It's not an image, although it is. So my point, the young generation thinks totally differently about imaging and videos as we do. So they have totally different kind of way of thinking about digital videos, about digital images, and sharing those things. So they think when they share a Snapchat, they think that they are not sharing a video or a story or anything. Okay, so we created a video sharing platform. It was called Movie, Mobile Video Experience. And idea in this was that it's a kind of mixture of YouTube and Instagram and maybe Snapchat, where you can share your video clips. You can comment your video clips or clips what others have posted there. You can remix clips to create a video story. We were asking from the school teachers that, would you like to do this kind of learning activity? They said, yes, we want to do this. This is just what is missing from the classroom right now. Would you like to do it in YouTube? No, we don't want to do it in YouTube because it's where kids are anyway, and there is so much disturbing content despite of the school things. So we would like to have school things in its own space. That's why we decided to create our own platform where you could only have the school things. In this project, we had 23 schools around the world, mostly in Finland, California, and Greek, something in Spain and Singapore also. 29 teachers, over 2,000 users, and over 6,000 videos were made during the project. And the videos, the stories were of variety topics. Schools were able to decide the topic by themselves, so we provided the platform and we studied the learning process, the video work process. But the topics were related to the school's interests and their curricula. So some of the topics included like expressing your opinion, like opinion of animal testing or your opinion of homelessness. So kids created stories about these topics. They wanted to show that, yeah, we are aware of animal testing and we are worried of those animals who are being used. Then there were experiments in physics lab. They were like documenting what they were doing in the lab, and I will show you more about this later. Local history was one project type what they did. So they actually created a place, like drama of ancient history. Ancient myths, these are Greek fifth graders who created stories about Zeus and all that. You know that. There were more serious topics also, like consuming water, what's the water, the role of water in your daily life, and harassment. Again, this was a group of 15-year-old girls who created a story about harassment on internet, and very serious topic, difficult topic, but they wanted to touch it by creating a story, digital video story. In our projects, we realized that engagement is actually a combination of two kinds of elements. So there is hard work element and fun or joy of learning element. Hard work element means that you are willing to do work. You are willing to create another version of this video so that you get your message through. And you want to put effort to this learning process. But also it creates joy of learning. When you get the outcome, when you get like thumbs up from other kids, you get the joy of succeeding, joy of learning. So this is the engagement. We also asked what they thought about digital storytelling project, how much they did the following things, so how much they were trying to find the solutions to challenges. They used argumentation skills. They created a plan for the story, like scripting the story, and so on. So they did many kinds of activities that I would say required quite a lot of problem-solving skills and creativity. Okay, the second example was that we wanted to use videos a little bit differently. So we took video inquiry-based learning. So inquiry learning, I think you probably are aware of it. It's like you are acquiring information somewhere, maybe from the nature, and you learn through that. You learn by making questions. You learn by making discoveries. And in that way, you actually produce knowledge or information, and it supports the development of higher order thinking skills. That's again related to 21st century skills. We did this together with Professor Roy P. from Stanford, and he said that yes, we can use inquiry learning and video. So video inquiry learning, where video can play important role as a bridging function. So the idea was that we will ask kids to take their mobile devices, take short video clips of some phenomenon, and then they will make questions from that video clip. Because the first step in inquiry learning is to make right questions. And that's the basis of science also. By making right questions, we can actually go deeper and solve problems and create something new. Okay, so the first example in this project was anyway related to math learning. In one school, this is high school, they created math problems and then then they solved the problems using pen and paper or digital tools. So the student had to figure out how to solve the math problem and how to explain the process of solving the equation so that others can understand how it goes and learn from that. Well, this is what Khan Academy is about. Sal Khan has created hundreds of videos of mathematical problems and solved them, and maybe they are of higher quality. But the main point here in this was that kids were doing them by themselves. They were not simply passive receivers of information, but they were active creators of the video and of the solution. So they learned quite a lot when they created these math videos. Well then, the inquiry. First example of inquiry. This is what the teacher did in California. This is a short video clip, like 7 seconds, where the person opens the door of the refrigerator, and this is all what happens in the video. Somebody just opens the door of the refrigerator. And the task was that what kind of questions you can make from this video. And the teacher gave an example that what causes the electricity to make the light bulb work. So, okay, there is a switch somewhere, so probably it works for that, and so on. And another question, how does the refrigerator keep the food cold? These are the obvious ones. All right, then we go to structured inquiry. This was the last experiment what we did, because we wanted to take step further this video inquiry. We wanted to create some kind of structure, so kind of mix the digital storytelling and inquiry video. So structured inquiry, the students are provided the tools and methods how to proceed. And here we wanted them to create mini documentaries. This was a chemistry classroom, or actually two classes. They were studying chemistry, and the researchers gave, or the teacher gave to the class a task. They had to create a super ball, like a plastic composition of certain ingredients that created a bouncing ball. And we asked them to take video clips and document this process of making. Okay, I'll skip the engagement. And we did this in phases. So they started with instruction and discussion. There were some basic theory first. But then they went to the classroom and chemistry classroom. They did some experiments. Then there was again instruction and discussion. They edited the story, and we repeated this cycle 3 times. 2 fifth grade classes was there from Finland. Altogether they were having 10 45-minute lessons of the period of 5 weeks. They created 53 digital stories. Not all of them were about Super Bowl. Some of them were other kind of experiments. But my example is about the Super Bowl. The story they were short. They were like 50 seconds. But this is very typical length of a video story in internet. So this resembles what kids see when they watch internet videos. And they were very popular. So over 2,000 times kids watched their own stories and the stories what the others were doing. So what we find out? stories were mostly close-up shots documenting what was done, and that was what was asked. There were sound commenting, so they were asking what should I do next, or the guy here who was filming was also like encouraging that, yeah, you just go on doing that. But they did not do any storyboarding or scripting. And that's actually what we would like to have, that they do storyboarding, and they probably could add like a filming session afterwards about their experience, what they consider, what they learned, what they think about this experiment. Did they learn what they wanted to learn? They also created mind maps about the process. I don't go deeper to this one. There was creativity, but we wanted, we learned that more creativity could be facilitated if we like let them do, let them have more freedom of doing video clips before and afterwards the lab experiment. But what these videos were good, it helped kids to revisit the lab afterwards. So obviously the lab time is not, they are not in a lab like on every class. So they could revisit the lab by watching the videos again. So it helped in the learning process. So all in all, I think we have found out that kids really learn 21st century skills. They learn problem solving. They learn digital literacy. They already know something about using mobile devices, and they are applying that knowledge for these school projects. Well, these experiments were done in secondary school, primary school, but I can't see any limitation why we couldn't use these technologies, this platform, in higher education also. It's not for every topic, but there are certainly topics where we could use this. One example, many students go to practice sessions to private companies during their studies. They could document what they are learning on a workplace using these kind of methods and share those lessons to other students who are not there at the same working place. I'm sure there are many, many other examples that we could do. We also wrote a book about this. So with my colleagues, it's available from Amazon if you are interested. Finnish Innovations and Technologies in Schools Towards New Ecosystems of Learning. With that, I would like to thank you, and I think we have time for questions. Thank you.